Meaningless stuff. Why do we gift so much meaningless stuff? Tired of generic gifts and hollow trends? Shutterfly allows you to create meaningful photo gifts for your family and friends. Whether it's a cozy fleece blanket for grandma, a stunning canvas print for mom, or a mug to make dad smile. Enjoy 40% off with code MAKE40 at Shutterfly.com and make something meaningful this year. See site for more details.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of At the Table podcast. Today I am so excited to be bringing y'all Earl Little Jr. Earl is a civil engineer by profession, but his passions goes far beyond his day job as he is the host of ET Street podcast. He is also a photographer and he's a community builder. Earl brings people together and spread positivity in everything he does, from capturing life moments from his camera lens to meaningful conversations on his podcast. In this episode, we kind of dive into Earl's journey, not only as a civil engineer, but as a creative, as a podcaster, as a photographer. In this episode, it really is like listening to two friends talk. This episode is one of my favorites, and we really had fun in this episode. So please pull up a chair, get ready, and welcome to At the Table podcast. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to At the Table podcast. Earl, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on, by the way. I appreciate it.
I am so excited for this conversation. And I'm... All right, Earl, are you ready for your interview?
Man.
Okay. Now, the very first question I ask every single one of my guests is, well, Earl, who are you?
That's a great question as well. Coming with a lot of great questions. So, I am Earl Little Jr. I'm a junior. I'm a brother of 4 other sisters. I guess a son to my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be a fixer, but sometimes, when you fix things, it doesn't need to be fixed. I'll also say I'm a podcaster.
Uh-huh.
And I love that about me because I feel like that was something where I can say, yeah, I did it. Even if I stopped tomorrow or stopped yesterday or whatever, I can still say, yeah, I did it. I posted videos. I went through the process, all that. I went through the whole 9 yards. So I think that gives me, a little bit, a pat on my back for that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What else?
What else would I say about myself? I think I am a friendly person and someone that will care about everybody else. I really enjoy seeing people all together, all my friends all together. And I kind of I guess it kind of goes into the podcast because I love to bring back people that I used to know, that are people that I'm just meeting and all that type of things. And I feel like I bring the same energy to all of them. Even if I haven't talked to someone like in years, I still hold them in that regard like I talked to them yesterday.
Right. Earl, you're talking about a podcast. What is the name of this podcast?
So we are ET Street podcast, E/T Street. It's me and my friends, Taylor Kane. That's my brother, my dog. And we usually bring back people from throughout our lives. So like through his childhood, my childhood, and we come and talk. We talk about their achievements, different things. Sometimes we talk about just random sports. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's everything. E/T means everything. So whatever we want to talk about, we talk about.
And what inspired you to create E Street?
E Street. Okay, so what inspired?
Yeah, like what was the initial I'm gonna do this?
Okay, so I think this is a cool story. And I think everybody could relate to it, at least the boys like that being game chats and stuff like that, or just chats in general. It was like that cliche where me and Taylor was like, yeah, we're like being like a game party or something, or like PlayStation or something. and we'd be talking about just random stuff, and we'd be like, this could be on a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And what ended up happening, we went on to one of my friends' podcasts, What the 410. And we were speaking. It was just I forgot what the topic was on. But we were just speaking about I think it was probably like friendship or like us being in high school or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the first taste of being on a podcast. And when me and Taylor left that, we was like, damn, we could do this. Right?
Yeah.
And then like we just talk about it. We were just talking about it, right? And then we got invited to another podcast. And this is where it kind of took off from there.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Osa's podcast, the Double O Show.
Uh-huh.
His episode that we're on is the Bosom Buddies. I was actually just listening to it not too long ago. I wanted to, kind of refresh myself on it. And we were there to talk about like us being pretty much brothers from another mother, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And just talk about our experiences together. And at the end of that podcast, I was talking to Osa and was like, and Toomey. So Toomey is Osa's co-host as well. And I was talking to them too. And me and Taylor was like, we really want to start this. How could you help us? And Osa was like, you know what? I'm going to help you. And he didn't have to.
Shout out Osa. Like, for real. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Osa really put, I mean, like, he put effort into helping us, which I always appreciate him for. And he got us set up at a recording where he records at. He was the the engineer for the first podcast, like the pilot podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So he did all that stuff while me and Taylor was just like, hosting. It was so cringe doing that first one. But, I don't know how you are. Just a side note, how was your first podcast? Like when you first did it? How did you feel?
Was my first podcast. Oh my goodness. So actually this podcast is not my first podcast. I think maybe I had like 2 or 3 before this one. And I don't know, like it just didn't feel right. So I mean, I eventually ended up canceling it. So I don't even remember my very first one, but I remember like I think it was actually a Christian one. And I had like this script, and if you heard it, you could just tell that I was reading off a paper, and it was like, oh, it was so automated. It was horrible. But my first podcast for this podcast though is still up. And I listen to it every so often because I like remembering like where I started and how, it was awkward and how awkward I was and like how horrible the sound quality was and all the ums that I was saying. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was pretty bad too.
Listen, I was listening to it and like my first couple words that I said, I was like, hello.
Wait, is y'all
this is your
still
host, Earl. Yeah, it's still up.
Oh.
It's the pilot. And I was like, hey, yo, I'm going to keep up all mines. I don't care how bad it is. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to keep it up.
A lot of people take them away. Yeah, a lot of people take away the first ones.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can see me from my start. Yeah. And honestly, you can, and I was talking to some of my friends about this too. And we can go back to your question. Started to articulate way better when I started the podcast to the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell the difference of me talking. You know what I mean? Just giving that skill, because this is a skill to talk.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah.
It is a skill, and I mean, you got to practice. It's any type of skill you have to practice, and the more you do it, the more you practice. I still feel like I'm kind of cold doing it because I stopped for a long time, like talking to you.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a skill.
It is definitely a skill. And the thing about skills is they never really leave you. Now, they might, like muscles, right? Like you can stop going to the gym, but the muscle won't go nowhere, or it might reduce. But once you start hitting the gym again, it'll come back up because it's already built up before. So like same thing with your speaking skills. Like, yeah, just because you stopped for a little bit, I think that when you start again, you're going to be like right back on it like you never left. But that's one of the things, like, people would ask me, like, why are you doing a podcast? And I'd be like, okay, aside from the obvious reasons why I'm doing the podcast, it's the small things and the soft skills, like being able to speak, being able to articulate, like you said, being able to have a sentence in my head and like verbalize that sentence and express it to you. Like, these are all skills, being able to listen to you speak and then be able to ask a question that is relevant based off of what you said while listening to you while you're speaking. Like, it takes a lot of work. And I think it's only something like a podcaster will really understand, or someone that does this for real will really get. So yeah.
You're 100% correct. Like, I'm with that for that.
Yeah.
Because it does take a lot.
You've spoken about having like your friends on, and different people in your life on your podcast. Who is your most memorable guest, or what was the most memorable experience you've had while podcasting?
Okay. Have three that I will always remember. Right. My first one would be with Toby, Dustin, and Tosin. They're three of my friends that I made in college. Their podcast did really well, like numbers wise. But I always that when I talk to them, it's very like fluid. You know what I mean? So that was a cool podcast to do. Another one is with so Taylor ended up. I think Taylor got like COVID or something. And it was with me. Osa was my co-host, my guest co-host. And then pretty much what's it called, the 101 Foundation, which is my wrestling brothers, Tyson, Jamil, and then Tyson's twin brother came. Tyson's twin brother came. God dang, I forgot his name. It's because I'm blanking out. Troy. But they were a cool one. And then my last one was Abby. I really liked Abby's podcast. And Abby is a singer. I wonder if she's gonna listen to this actually. And if she does, hi Abby. I love you. But she's a singer. Abby T. She's a singer. And she lived in Maryland. She went to NYU to like work on her craft with singing and getting exposed. And then she moved to California. The thing why I liked it the most, I love that podcast the most, is because last time I talked to her from that podcast, I mean, other than that podcast and setting that up, was in elementary school.
Wow.
So it was cool to like talk to her from like, we were children, like we're like children when we were talking to each other before. But now I think we were like maybe like 23-ish. And we were able to conversate, talk about our life goals and all that good stuff. I just wish the best for her.
Yeah.
She was just a great person to talk to.
I bet that conversation was great. Like, y'all had a lot of time to catch up on. That is insane. And it's really cool being able to like say, yeah, we started from the same place, but look at like how our lives are so different. And I'm so proud of you. And you're so proud of me. Like, that's so cool. My next question is, what's your favorite thing about having a podcast?
Connecting with all my friends. It's just bringing people together, truthfully. Because this was an avenue to actually like have conversations with your peers, your brothers, and all that good stuff. Because I try to bring back everybody on my podcast that I'm cool with. I did a podcast with, I'm trying to think, I did a podcast with Adora.
Yeah, he's been on,
yeah, but I'm trying to think, was he on my pilot or did I not post his podcast? I don't remember. But I did a podcast with him, and like me and him are really good friends. Like Dre, I can say Dre, Tyson, Troy, Jamil, Tyson, Micah, all them people. I'm gonna say I have a whole bunch, and I don't want to keep on going on because everybody that I bring on there means something to me. Yeah. Even though that if I bring them on once or if I don't talk to them, they all mean something to me. So I appreciate them coming on. So that's what I really enjoy doing the podcast for. is bringing those guys back on and having a conversation, and highlighting their accomplishments or what they want to do.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the best things about podcasting. Like being able to just be like, I see you and I see what you're doing and I see how hard you're working in whatever craft you have. And just that as well, like being able to document these relationships in your life. And whether y'all don't talk no more or like they've kind of just went on to different things and you've gone on to different things. You have this like this picture of time, and it's not even a picture, it's an audio file stuck in time of y'all's relationship. And yeah, I completely agree. I
have a picture because all my podcasts are video podcasts. So yeah. I can see, I see them. Yeah. So I see how we look. I do all that. So I'm,
I think I had dreads when you when you was on.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did have dreads. He had dreads. It was a lot of different things. I didn't have hair when I started posting. So now, like, when I post again, I'm gonna have cornrows. So, like, it's gonna be crazy when I post again. Even Taylor. So Taylor had dreads back then, but his dreads are as long as I don't know what now. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to like see that time skip. With us, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You're making me think about, like, I go back to my early episodes so often, and it's just to remember who I was when I first started, because oh my goodness, like I am so different now, even myself. Like when I first started my first episodes, I was so scared. I was scared shitless, and you could hear it in my voice. How scared of life I was. Like I hadn't had a job. I was fresh out of college. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, oh my goodness, I need to get my stuff together. And it's so cool that this podcast has grown with me. So I don't know, when we spoke about like literally you can see the differences. Like it's crazy how not only can you physically see the difference, but if you remember back to where you was when you created that first episode, you could be like, yo, life is really, really different in the span of 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is extremely
crazy. So as a podcaster, I'm pretty selective about my guests. And I know it's like an intricate process because you want to make sure that, you can talk to your guest and like, it's not weird. And also like you're able to basically like vouch for them. So I do a pretty like intricate like vetting process. How do you select your guest? How do you know if they're a right fit for ET Street?
Okay. So I don't. Mine is not a really good vetting process. And it's not because I don't want to. Most of the people on here is on my life. In my life. So I kind of want to.
That is the vetting process though. No, for real though. That's the vetting process.
I mean, I guess you could say that. Yes. That makes sense. I have had people reach out to me and say, can I go on your podcast as well?
And how do you know if they're a good fit? What do you look for?
If they're doing something, really.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it doesn't really matter. It's like, to me, it doesn't really matter if they're doing something, as long as if I can get a conversation out of them. Because everybody has some type of something going on with their life. You know what I mean? It's just up to if they want to share it. And it's crazy because one of my podcasts that I love. One of my favorite podcasts is Therapy Gecko. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Therapy Gecko, what's that?
But it's this guy named Lyles. He is a therapy gecko. He literally dresses up in a gecko costume with green paint on his face. And he takes people's calls and they just sometimes they trauma dump. Sometimes they just mess around with them. Sometimes they just talk about something stupid. But like the fact that he real live like helps people in like a therapy way, but he's not a therapist. You know what I mean?
Very interesting. I'm sorry. Wait, first, I've only ever seen these on like YouTube or like TikTok. Where does he do this at? And is it real?
So yeah, he's real. Okay, I'm gonna tell you everything about him, sort of, kind of truthfully. So, Lyle, I met him. Well, I didn't meet him, but I saw him on TikTok. He did an interview with Lil Yachty. And he had Lil Yachty answer the calls with him. That's when I first met him. Then I was like, dang, this guy is actually pretty cool.
Huh.
Right. Then I found out he lived in Baltimore.
Huh.
Right. And I was like, oh, so he's from here. Then I found out that he went to. You're from Baltimore County?
Yeah, I'm from the county.
Oh, okay. So then I'm from the county too. Then I found out he went to school in Franklin.
Oh,
I was like, dang, he was like right up the street. I went to Owens Mills. He went to Franklin.
Yeah.
And he's like 2 years older than us or something like that. I was like, dang, like he's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did an interview. One of my wrestling managers, I love her so much, Remy. Shout out to Remy.
Shout out, Remy.
We were talking, and I said something about Therapy Gecko, and she was like, "I know him."
Oh, wow.
It's a story he said on his podcast, right? And it was crazy that she was telling me this. He went into his friend's house and stole stuff and stole shit. It was her house. And I was like, ain't no way.
The world is so small.
No, it is. And I was like, he stole stuff from your house. And I was like, damn, that's crazy as shit. But now he's doing really well. He travels the world doing his little therapy gecko stuff. And he be helping people. Like, I really do fuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I really been wanting to, low-key, I might just say fuck it and go into his Discord. He does his videos on Discord, and then he posts it on YouTube, and then YouTube, Spotify. I listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. So that's what he does.
That's pretty cool. I've never heard of it before, but I'm definitely gonna check him out now. And
yeah, he's cool.
So that's just to say, like, you are interested in everybody and anybody to come on your podcast.
Yeah, like. The only downside about that, and shame on me for this, but I'm gonna smack myself on the wrist for that. It sucks when I get someone who doesn't want to talk. Like, if they're just not an outgoing person. I use liquor to my advantage. I usually drink on my podcast, and I get them loose off of that. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of one of my tactics to do it. And I just kind of like bombard them with questions. Unless they like, they kind of like retreat in the shell. Yeah. And then like you kind of like back off a little bit. But that's kind of how I try to like filter out your conversation. Because usually when people like drink, they become, they like to talk, they like to yap a lot. And I applaud the yapping. I love all the yapping. Love it. I want to hear them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know. That's just, I want to have these people who are quiet, share their story. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they really have like different perspectives and lives. You know what I mean? And I love to hear it. I want to hear it. I want everybody to hear it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the thing, like about like podcasting generally, right? Like it really makes you a people of all people. So you need to be able to talk to the extroverted person just the same way that you talk to an introverted person. And like, I do introduction calls, just so that I can see the type of person or talker you are. So if I need to like come in and prep with filler, because you're a little quieter, I know I need to do that. Also, the this or that really helps sometimes too. But yeah, I completely get it. It's like a different way of reading people that I never had to do before I had a podcast. But it's like, if I speak, will you talk back? And if I talk, how long will you talk for? Because some people are yappers for real. And sometimes you gotta be like, okay. All right. And that's about the podcaster. You know what I mean? You have to know when to settle them down and all that stuff. It's a skill.
It is a skill. It is a skill. That's the thing. Like, just like photography, like people think it's just, it's just to come on here and talk. And it's like, no, to podcast is actually a bit more intricate than that. But I don't know.
Because you can say, I mean, an hour is a long time, but like,
oh no, really it's not. It sure does.
This really flies. Yeah. And I get this all the time when I do my podcast, and then they be like, "Oh, it's already an hour." I'm like, "Yeah, it's been an hour." Like, you really be having fun when you're just talking. You know what I mean? Especially if you're talking about yourself. That's like, makes it even better.
Yeah, because you're the expert of yourself. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I'm curious. So, Well, I know that my podcast has evolved over and over and over through my journey of podcasting. During your journey and your duration of podcasting, like how did you see your podcast evolving? And also, as you plan to go back into podcasting, how do you see it evolving into this new season that you're going into?
Okay, yeah, it definitely involved from different stages. From
Mm-hmm.
me not knowing how to work equipment
Yeah.
to me being an expert in a lot of different equipment for it.
Mm-hmm.
The first major thing that we did was we got a studio. We rented out a studio and we got that space. So like that was like our benchmark. We ended up sometimes we would go into like the studio that we went to. That studio had a podcast side and then a radio side.
Mm-hmm.
When the podcast side was filled, sometimes they would let us use the radio side. And when we went on the radio side, the equipment there was a lot better. And I'm talking to Osa, like, dang, this equipment is a lot better. Like, we need to upgrade or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So how we evolved from that was, me and Osa decided to put our coins together, and then we bought the Rodecaster. With me and him. So we bought all the equipment. So we have the whole 9 yards. 4 mics, 4 stands, 4 everything. And then the dock for the podcast equipment, like the whole Rodecaster.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped us out a lot, meaning we can do, first of all, we don't have to charge ourselves in that studio station anymore if we didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could do our podcast whenever we wanted to. We wasn't on a time schedule. Yeah. Only time schedule we was on was each other's, you know what I mean? So we would have to plan each other's like our podcasts around each other. But that wasn't hard because me and him had a pretty good schedule. Usually it would be like I do a day, he do a day type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Then because I had the Rodecaster, we had the Rodecaster, I was like, okay, let's make the most out of my living situation. So I live with my parents still. And we live in a decent house. So I ended up doing my podcast either outside on my patio, which I really liked my outside patio.
You know, I did go look at it. And they are really, really nice, the outside ones.
I really like the outside ones because it's not anymore, but like we would have background noise. And like it would be like if you really got into it, we had chickens in the background. Like they'll be clucking and shit like that. Chickens, dogs, and sometimes you'll hear a cow. Like I really like that. And
it's
then
cool.
I would talk to people at that. Yeah, because you know I don't know what type of headphones you use, but you can hear yourself in the mic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They would think that it's background noise that I put like an audio clip on. It's real life outside.
Oh wow. Huh.
It was cool. I like that part. But then I would do the basement when it starts getting real cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I like my basement. It's cool. I can change the lights and stuff, I guess. That's about it for the basement, really. But I think I'm gonna stay here for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a downside for it. And this is something I do need to think about. Some of the guests that I have, like I invited female guests on here, and totally understand why they would say this. They didn't want to come because it was at my house.
Yeah,
I understand. Like, listen, it's too. I guess me and Taylor are pretty like big individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We both are like pretty tall, and Taylor's like a big nigga, a big dude. So I completely understand if you don't feel comfortable coming here. But that is something that I had to start thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to go to other people's houses or whatever? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I have the equipment. I just have to figure that out. But I think I need to upgrade and get something smaller and do outside in the parks or something like that.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that because people aren't going to see it like this, but having a podcast is like it's its own business. And with a business comes like all of these micro decisions that are really, really small. Well, in perspective, right? But they actually have really big outcomes, or they're just really big decisions. And that's one of the things, like, how are you going to do your podcast? Where is it going to be at? Is it good driving space? Is it at home? Is there parking? Like, is it going to be audio? If it's audio, are you not going to do video, or are you going to do video and it's going to be on Zoom, or do using Riverside? And all of these different decisions, really, really do matter. And it's insane, but like, wow, yeah, that was a really good one.
Oh, speaking of that, are you interested, or are you going to be doing any like video? I remember you saying that you wanted to get a team on one of your podcasts, so I'm just trying to see what your plans are in the work. So are you planning on doing any of that?
That is the $1 million question. Everybody asks me that, and it really just. I don't mind going on someone else's podcast who does video, but because this is just me right now, and sometimes I hire people to do one or two things, like, I'm just too small. But I want to be in a space where the podcast is self-sufficient so that I can buy the video, or I can buy the studio. Look, it can't cut into my salary. And when I told God that, when I started this podcast, I told God, I was like, I cannot pay for this podcast out of my salary. Like, it has to be its own thing. Like, it needs to be able to make its own money. So when the podcast gets big enough to be able to make its own bread, that is definitely something that I will be moving to, but not yet. Yeah. I'm
going to tell you right now, I feel like you can do it right now. That's just my opinion. And the only reason why I say that is because I don't know what iPhone you got, but you got an iPhone.
I do have an iPhone.
And it don't matter what year it is, your iPhone has decent quality film.
Well, it is a 15.
I record all my podcast. You got a 15. Girl, you got a 15. This thing looking nice right now. I'm just saying, this thing looking nice. I record, and I can tell you what I record. I record off of my Canon, and I record off of because I do two perspectives. I record off my Canon, and I record off my iPhone.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And my quality is decent.
And you go back and edit the videos too? And you flip between the frames?
Do that. You would have to do that because you're going to be doing solo episodes, so it'll be a lot easier for you.
Some of them are solo, but what about the guests?
I'm taking one step at a time. You feel me? You're gonna do one step at a time. You gotta.
You know what? I like the way you think, though. I do like the way you think. Maybe I should start making my solo episodes videos. Oh my gosh!
And you can just do it for yourself. That's how I would say to do it. Do it for yourself. Don't tell anybody. And if you actually like it, you can post it.
Yeah. All right. So if y'all see a video episode out of me, y'all know it was Earl.
Listen, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be like, look at my girl. She filming.
All right. Okay. All right. You've inspired me. I'll try it. I'll give it a try, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. Go ahead. You can do your own little thing. Do it in your own space, you know.
Yeah.
Drink some tea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some tea. Yeah, actually. Well, assuming that, this is a podcast kind of for podcasters, and I'm going to assume that there are people on here who would like to start a podcast. So what advice would you give someone who is looking to start a podcast?
Do your homework. Make sure you study. Because when I did this, I put a whole bunch of hours into actually like looking this stuff up.
Yeah.
And when I started this, I was in college. I was like middle of my like doing crazy type of math.
You are a civil engineer. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yeah. So if I could do it, you can do it. That's what I'd say. You know what I mean?
But Earl, because I can hear someone already asking this, like, Earl, homework as it pertains to what?
Yeah. So that's okay. homework as in pertains to what type of recording device are you going to use. Something that's really important is your microphones. But all of this. Well, I'm going to give you this.
So can
microphones,
I tag team?
which so we're gonna your microphones, recording, the space that you're going to do, what your podcast is actually going to be about, the name of your podcast. Make sure no other people actually have that name, because it took me a minute to figure out the name. I had so many different names, but other people would have that name.
Yeah.
So you don't want to step on someone else's toes or trying to take someone else's name, because maybe they're big. They're big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So get your own thing. You know what I mean? Find your own thing, and it might take you a little bit. If you decide to do video, know what type of cameras you're going to use, what equipment you need,
how many.
Yes, how many. Really, you can study on which software you're going to use to update. Not update, to make your videos. Me personally, I was raised on Adobe. So I'm all things Adobe. I know how to use almost all Adobe softwares.
Oh, that's so cool.
But you can use iMovie. You can use a whole bunch of other stuff. They have free. I think they have free video software, like video editing softwares and stuff like that. So you don't have to break the bank, really.
You need to know what you're going to stream on. You need to know what colors are going to be your staple colors for your podcast, because that matters. And there's neuroscience to back all that stuff up. You need to know how often you're going to post, and stay consistent with however often you say you're going to post. Pick a day.
When is yours?
Oh, I post once a week on Friday.
It's a week. What day?
Friday.
Oh, do you have a time?
No, I don't have a time.
Okay. So, that's something to study, and I found this out as well. The best time to post and on Instagram and stuff on like that is 11 to 12 o'clock.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
That is the best time to post, on Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff, because generally everybody is going to be looking at their phone around that time. You got people on the East Coast that's going to be looking on their phone for maybe break or lunch, and then you got people on the West Coast
they're just waking up, right? Oh wow,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a thing.
Speaking of posting, what are you going to post on? I know most of my audience, actually, I get them through LinkedIn, which is crazy.
Oh, that's tough. That's nice.
Because I have a bit more of a professional podcast. So that's where my people be at, on LinkedIn, as opposed to Instagram. I don't really have high engagement on Instagram or even on TikTok. I also post on Pinterest. What are you going to post
LinkedIn,
on?
sorry.
Huh?
Yes, that's it. Shout out LinkedIn.
Shout out LinkedIn, for real. But yeah, what are you going to post on? What is your audience? Do you have a niche? I don't have one. Well, I kind of do, but I didn't start off with one initially. Do you have one?
Explain.
I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
Explain.
Oh, a niche.
A niche. Like
your people.
I know what a niche is, but
yeah, some people it's education. Some people it's I don't know, women empowerment.
I don't know. I see. So that's the thing with the Everything podcast, the ET Street podcast. I don't know if it's a certain thing, because we jump from different topics and different people. So truthfully, if you go in there and you go see let's say Abby's and Breeze, they're two singers. Their podcast is completely different in my eyes than you going to me talking to my friends Jordan, Dre, and Taylor.
Yeah.
That's a complete that's more of to me, that's their episodes are barbershop talk.
Yeah.
And then their episodes are more interviewing talk. And then let's say who else was really interviewing? Even Khalil. It was a guy. It was the Mighty Podcast. If you go in there, for that episode, his was a lot more interviewer talk, because we were just talking about him and what he's been doing. You know what I mean? It just depends on when I do the podcast stuff, I put my stuff as comedy though, even if it's not.
I think I put mine as like, I think it's like business, but I'm the same way. I didn't pick a niche either. Everyone says that you should niche down. I didn't want to because I didn't want to like restrain the podcast either and say, oh no, it is just this or it is just that. I want this podcast to be whatever it wants to be. And whatever I feel like having it be. So I was just wondering, because I know that a lot of people that are looking to do things like this, they're probably hearing that rhetoric as well. And it's okay to not have a niche, you guys. It's fine.
I mean, I agree. Well, I mean, like, it also depends on like what you want to do though about it. If you want to have like, let's say if you want to have like a finance podcast, that would be that's your whole thing is finance.
That's true, you know, and that is a niche. Yeah, that's true.
So you have to know what you want to do and what you can talk about and have the information on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Earl, what are some future goals that you have for E Street, and how do you see the podcast growing in the next few years?
The future goals I'll have for ET Street is post. I want to actually post. So, you know, the goals I actually do have, I have maybe like 6 or 7 episodes that I have not posted.
It'd be like that.
And the last time I posted on YouTube was about like a year ago. It was like last December. And I want to start posting next December. That's my goal. Is to actually start posting.
Yay! So we're gonna be seeing more ET Street content pretty soon, y'all.
Yes, we will. We're gonna have you on the podcast, so we're excited for that. Yay!
Oh, really? I am so flattered. Of course, I'm really excited.
I hope you enjoy that podcast, and then you'll get to meet me in person and Taylor in person.
That was so much fun.
Yes. Anything else? Also for the podcast, me and Taylor are trying to plan and Tyson and Jamil, the One-on-One Foundation. We're going to be planning another football event before Thanksgiving, because we usually do a turkey bowl every year. So we're going to try to get another football one before the turkey bowl. And then really cool. I'm excited for that. And then I am trying to figure out how I can get a indoor court to do a basketball tournament again. Invite a whole bunch of people.
Have you asked the YMCAs and the local gyms and stuff?
I called the rec what's it called, the rec center on Liberty Road. They did not answer my phone call. Left a message, they didn't answer.
They wasn't going to answer.
They did not answer my phone call. So I'm mad at them. But I'm either gonna drive up there first, because they said you can send them an email, or I'm gonna send them an email and ask them how I can get that. Because I mean, like, I could pay for if it's not like crazy, but like I'm paying no thousands of dollars. They got me messed up for that. I really don't want to charge people to do these things. But if it's gonna be expensive, I'm gonna have to charge people.
Yeah, that's how it be. But however it is, I'll be there and I will post it and see if we can get people to come out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Earl. So another really cool thing about Earl, you guys, is he also is a civil engineer. So my question is, Earl, how do you juggle all the things? Like, how did you even juggle going to school, being a podcaster, and also still doing photography? And now that you're in your career, how do you do both? Or all the things?
Now, I don't juggle. Because of, circumstances. I really stopped for almost a year because it was a lot of stuff that's happening. But that was an excuse. That was very excuse. But I mean, me and Taylor had life stuff that happens. Taylor had life, like family stuff that he had to deal with, and he really couldn't do no podcast at the time. Now we're me and him, and then I have my job. Now me and him are at a point of life where we can start this back up. For me, I already kind of have a schedule. I'm going to try to edit. I'm going to try to get my videos to be either Friday or Saturday and edit Sunday. Post on Friday at 12. All right, so I already have that on there. School wise, that was a trick.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
When I first started, listen, and this was crazy. I had to pre-record all of my I want to say 12 episodes. 4 and 12. Yeah, 12 episodes. I had to have 3 months worth of episodes because I had an internship that I was in upstate New York.
Wow.
So yeah, and this took a toll out of me and Taylor, and I felt so bad for Taylor, but Taylor felt bad for me too because I had what we had to do. I had to do it 10 times worse because I know how to edit all the videos. I'm the editor pretty much, so I edit all the videos and all that stuff. While I feel bad for Taylor, we would do like 2-3 episodes recording at a time.
That's insane.
Talking for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And yo.
Back to back.
Oh my God. Back to back. Oh my God. That like our studio was in the city. Mm-hmm. Me and Taylor would get to the point where like we would get in the car and be like, I don't want to talk to you. And we drive home, there's no carpool. We drive home silent.
Aww. And you know, it's crazy. People literally do that. Like that's their profession. But they'll do like 3 months and then they'll duck off. They'll be gone. And let their staff handle the rest while they go on vacation. Like
yeah. No. I wish I had a staff. Oh my God. I really do.
It's coming. It's coming. And actually, that's my next question. But do you plan on like going like super, super professional with your podcast?
I want to keep it at the I do it myself stage at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep on posting. I think if I get a lot more buzz, I enjoy the amount. Like truthfully, if I'm being honest, I enjoy the amount of people that watch my podcast now. Mm-hmm. I think the highest I had, like viewer count I had was maybe like around 300. Mm-hmm. And then the lowest I had was like 25 people. Mm-hmm. But like, you really think 25 people is a lot of people.
That's the thing.
In my, that's, I listen.
You get 25 heads in the room. It's pretty deep. Yes, yeah, you're right.
It is pretty deep.
Like the fact you do take time and listen to me. Like I take that, like that means everything.
Yes. And I'm so happy about it. Like everything. Like my family be listening to it. My friends be listening to it. And like, I just really enjoy the fact that like, I'll be like, damn, 25 people listening to my shit. I'd be so excited. Yeah. And it's on YouTube and they watch like, because you can see where they stop at on YouTube and like where like they usually go off at like the time wise. And some people really be finishing the whole entire episode. And I'm like, damn, you watched an hour of me just yapping to my friend or something. God dang. It's cool. I appreciate it. And that doesn't really matter to me at this time. Now, if it comes and if I get a revenue or something from it, shit, I'd do it. I would do it. And
I want staff. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to have a team behind me. Oh my goodness. But it's probably because like, I'm so busy. Like masters, I work full time. Like I'm in all these clubs and everything. And it's like, I love this. Like I love being able to sit here. I love being able to meet my guests. I love being able to talk to y'all. But like, it's like everything after. It is so much work. Like you said, the editing. And that's another reason why I can't do the video right now. But the editing is insane. Like making sure the audio is really good. The posting after, the caption descriptions, the title thinking, the thumbnail, all those things. It's like, But it really is, it's pretty great. I don't know.
But it's also a learning experience. I don't know if this ever happened to you, but like I get so mad. Like at myself if I fuck up the audio or like some type. I'm very critical. Like I'm like super like if I fuck up something on like a video or something, I'm very high key on it. Like I can tell like honestly, like even when like people edit like pictures and stuff, I can see like little mistakes because I know what they can do for it.
Yeah.
And I'm super critical on my own stuff. So like even if I fuck up the audio just a little bit, I'd be so angry.
Yeah.
I'd be so angry.
Yeah, you know what it is for me? Like listening back and I'm like, dang, I should have said this. Or dang, like my transition from this question to this question was off. Like, why didn't I put in a personal story right there? And that's another thing. Like, podcasting is insane. Like, it really is. Like, you really become this master talker because you're like, oh, like I should have put in a personal story right there when I was trying to transition. It would have been better. I should have gave more context. Like, I knew what I was trying to ask, but I didn't ask the question right or something. Like, it is so funny, but yeah. But yeah. Oh, I completely derailed and I went on a rant. Wow.
Okay, listen, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Earl, I don't know. I think we're really, really done. Yeah, I think we're done. And we are sitting at 40 or 54 minutes, which is insane. But I have one last final question for you. I haven't asked this question to someone in a while, but because you're a podcaster, I think you'll be ready for it. But Earl, as your last question, I would like to ask, do you have me a question? Wow. Do you have a question for me?
I do, actually. I do. And you know, the crazy thing is, I prepared for this. I told you I listened to your stuff.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to do this or that to you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And I wrote down a couple questions. And you get one skip. Let me go to my notes real quick.
Oh, wow. I'm nervous.
It's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad.
But you literally flipped the script on me.
I did. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I had my friend help me with some of the questions because I was.
Oh, wow. You prepared.
I am prepared for you. Okay. You have 10 questions, 10 this or that, and then you can skip one if you want to. Right. Well, I'm going to hit you with the hard one because I think it's going to be pretty funny for this. I'm friends with Adora and Yemi. Which podcast did you like better?
Oh, no. You ain't finna put me ass skip. Oh, Adora and Yemi are so cool. I couldn't even pick if I wanted to. Oh my goodness.
They're amazing. They're both my dogs.
Oh, that is such a hard question.
Yes, yeah. I'm coming hot first.
No.
We're gonna have some easy ones too.
Okay.
But it's
yeah, I can't answer that. Like, they are both amazing, and their podcasts were both great.
We're both great. I appreciate both of them. Mm-hmm. Both those ones that you had for this is another hard one. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Journaling or podcasting?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Oh, journaling. Because I can get raw in my journal. Like, sometimes with these podcasts, I really do want to get raw, but it's like, yo, the internet can't know my business like that. Like, this is kind of crazy. And like, I actually make like really, really bad decisions sometimes. And my journal gets it all, like all of me. The podcast they cannot get because no. But yeah, definitely journaling. Definitely.
Okay, nice. Okay. We're going to go for an easy one. Summer or winter?
Oh, neither. I prefer fall.
Oh, no. For real?
Yeah, it's my favorite season. Winter's too cold. Summer's too hot.
You know, I like fall and winter. Well, really spring and winter because I am more of a hoodie and sweatshirt type of guy.
Wait, say that again. You like what?
I'm a winter and like spring, or like let's say like that colder months. I like the colder months.
Okay.
Because I like wearing hoodies and sweatshirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, sweatpants, that type of stuff. I'm definitely a long sleeve type of guy. You know what I mean?
You know, yeah, I'm a long sleeve kind of girl too, and I do like being a little covered up. I like the bundles. I like layers. Like, yeah, I completely get where you're coming from. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, on to the next question. The creative process or the execution?
Oh, man. I have to think about that. Creative process or execution? I like the execution. I like seeing my thoughts like sit in my hands and be done.
Interesting. I thought you would have went for the other one, the creative process, but that's good. I like it. I'm rocking with it.
What about you?
I am definitely an execution type of person.
Yeah.
I like to be like, I'm very on the fly. I think that's the best quality for me for this type of stuff. I'm very on the fly for a lot of the stuff. So I can come up, like, if I didn't prepare these questions, I probably could have gave you at least like 7 questions, just like off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm on the fly type of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you a night person or a morning person?
I am a morning person. I wake up at 4:30.
Oh my God, I don't.
And I'm usually in like bed by 9:00, and I try to be asleep by 10.
I'm in the bed by 9:00, but I usually wake up like on my own is like 7.
Earl, that's
not wasting
early.
the day. That is early. 7 is. Do you not know what your friends probably don't wake up until 12?
You're probably right. You know what? No, 7 is pretty early. Wow. So you're an early bird. You're an earlier bird. Early bird.
Yes. And I love doing my work early. So like usually like for editing like my podcasts and stuff, first thing I do in the morning. And like during the weekend, first thing I do. Wake up at 7 and I go edit until like maybe like 9 or something.
Wow.
Extrovert or introvert?
I don't know. It depends. If you meet me in public, you'll think I'm an extrovert. Also, because I have a podcast, you'll probably think I'm an extrovert. But like, I'm truly, truly, truly an introvert. And if you like really, really watch me, you'll be able to tell like I'm an introvert.
Yes.
Are you an extrovert or an introvert?
I'm literally the same thing as you.
Yeah.
I am an introvert at heart. I am an extrovert with everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes. I can put myself in that situation. And that's why I love me and Taylor's dynamic, because me and Taylor are very opposite.
Oh, so Taylor is extroverted properly. Like,
so he's extroverted when okay. So I am introverted at nature. But I'm extroverted like when people see me. Taylor is introverted at nature, but he is extroverted when he's with the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when I'm with people I rock with, I'm fine just not talking. Taylor will talk. Yes, Taylor will talk. Taylor likes to make jokes and stuff like that. So Taylor is like the life of the party when he knows someone. But like if we're just meeting them, I'm usually the one to like kind of like talk to everybody and like break the ice. And then when Taylor warms up, he finishes the conversation type of deal.
No, I'm more like Taylor. I thought when we started explaining, I thought I was more like you, which would make sense because, you know, we have the same birthday. But no, I'm definitely more like Taylor. I will be the life of the party, but like for 5 minutes. And then after that, like I've disappeared and I've left. And you'll be like, where's Addie? And Addie has gone home. That's where Addie is gone.
Oh, you want to know something crazy? Us three would be in the same car. Because every party, I swear to God, we're the first people there. And then all of our friends know we're about to leave. We'd say, well, you know what time it is. And me and Taylor be out. Oh, that's our thing. That's me and Taylor's thing. We are the first ones out all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just disappeared. Just duck off. I came, I saw, I conquered. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Taking action or going with the flow?
Oh no, I'm taking action. I'm going with even when you said going with the flow, I had a surge of anxiety. Yeah, taking action for sure. And I'm very, very organized. Like very, very painstakingly organized.
Love that.
What about you?
Going with the flow.
Really? Oh.
Yes. I'm very going with the flow. I am very I think I am reactive. I'm not. I'm very reactive. I think I'm pretty decent reacting more than acting. Something does happen. I think I'll be on it, but I don't know. It's harder for. Excuse me. I just burped. I'm sorry. It's harder for me to take the action until something happens. So even with this podcast, the only reason why I decided to do the podcast is because I got on the podcast. You know what I mean? So I think I am action. I am going with the flow type of guy.
Me? Oh my goodness. Like I tell my friends, like if we've planned an outing or we've planned to do something, like it has to be what we said it's going to be, or like I will have heart palpitations. Like I can't I don't handle spontaneity very well because like a million and one things, like I have to think about a million and one things and a million and one things pop up in my head. And I'm like, okay, so like, where am I going to park? Is my car safe? Like, am I safe? Like, what am I wearing? Do I have the proper attire? Like I get all those questions and I don't know, like what oh my gosh, no, I wish I was more like you though.
I feel, no.
No, it's really good. I don't know. Like, oh, yeah. Something I'm working on, though. I'm working on it. It's really good.
You got it. You're doing fantastic. Listen, I don't know you that well, but I just have a feeling you're doing fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. A solo podcast or interviews?
Oh, I like both. Oh, if I had a second skip, this would be it. I really, really like both. Oh no. I like the guest interviews because, well, I get to meet people like you and I get to make new friends and I get to have really great laughs. But I love my solo episodes because I feel like, I don't know, like that's the base of this podcast. I really made it so people don't feel lonely or people feel a little less lonely. And I don't know. I love my solo episodes though. Oof, I don't know. Oh man. What do I say that doesn't get me in trouble? I love both.
I give you hard ones. I'm not gonna lie. The last one could be debatable, be hard one. I'm gonna let you know that. I'll save another hard one for the last one.
Oh, that's terrifying. All right, so let me make a decision. Solo episodes, just because also they're easier to execute. With these guest episodes, you know, I have to like do it with people, so that adds another extra layer of complexity. The podcast, like the blogs, I use a different type recording device and everything, but solo episode is just like pick up a mic and record. So I love those. Yeah, I'm gonna pick that one.
Shout out to your birthday episode. Our birthday episode.
Our birthday episode.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. And you know the crazy thing is, I was like, you're 20, you're 24 right now.
I am currently 24. Yes.
And I was answering the questions because I'm 25 now. So I was like, okay. I was just putting myself in your situation. I was like, okay.
That is so
that's what
cool.
So the next question is, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg definitely came first, for sure. Yeah.
And then the last question, would you rather laugh really loud or pray all the time?
You are so funny. Oh. Oh, dang. I was really going to say laugh really loud, but then I felt like I was betraying God. So we're going to say pray all the time.
I was thinking the same. That's what the crazy thing is, I was like, I shouldn't say this one because of that. That exact reason. That's exactly the reason why I said that. But I wanted to do it all.
No, it was great. It was great. Wow, that was so good. But laughing really loud is a close second. As you can tell.
Yes. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
This is so much fun.
I had so much fun. I'm really excited to come on your podcast as well and run this back.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
We can talk about how what it's going to be. I'm very interested. I'm going to try to do something different for you.
Okay.
And kind of test your boundaries in the podcast. Wait, you know what I mean? Okay,
I'm down. I am down.
Hey, let's go.
All right. Thank you so much, Earl. And we're ending in 3, 2, 1.
That was a lot of fun. I must admit that was a lot of fun. Thank you for going on that journey with us. If you have any comments, please put it in the description below. I think Spotify allows us to be able to do that. And also rate the episodes. It really, really helps us extend our reach. I have a blog on my website. Look below for the link, and you can find all of Earl's information. As of us, please go follow us at the table _pod. Of course, my DMs are open. And yeah, I think that's it, y'all. Yeah, this episode was really great. Please do not forget to laugh really loud and pray all the time. Okay. Bye, y'all. I'm excited to have you here at the table. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. It's really fun. I'm excited too. I haven't did it in a while, so I'm with it. I'm with all of it.
And you are my very first podcaster on the podcast as well. So like I'm really excited to get into all of those conversations and talk about you, Earl. But before we start, I actually have a surprise. So I didn't tell you about this, and I don't do this, or I do this with all of my guests, but we're gonna play a game of this or that. But actually,
cool, sweet.
It is going to be the credits or like the bonus at the end, but this is just to get you warmed up, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
That's nice. Ready? Okay. I'm ready.
All right. So the first question is podcasting or photography? Because I know you're into photography as well.
Hard one. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say pass because I listen. I told you I'll be listening to you, so I know that you be like you get a pass. You feel me? But I'm going to say photography. Crazy. That was a hard one actually. Yes, it's a reason though.
Okay. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
Which would you prefer? Hosting a podcast episode or organizing a community event?
Oh, hosting a podcast episode.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Next question. Do you like interviewing guests or being interviewed?
That's a good one too. I want to say interviewing guests because I can kind of, I can dictate the conversation in a way.
Yeah. You are on the receiving end of this. You kind of just get what I give you, and I'm staring at both here. So hopefully I stared okay. Like, do you like taking pictures of nature and landscapes, or do you prefer like pictures of people and portraits?
Hey, so if you asked me when I first started taking pictures, definitely landscapes and like objects. But now that like I'm starting to get a little bit, I got a lot more into like the digital arts field. Definitely people, because I can manipulate a lot of the like photography because of the classes and the things that I know how to do from, my experiences.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I have also tried photography. I wasn't very good at it, but it kind of is crazy how much depth there is in photography. People just think it's like taking a picture or hitting the button, but no, there's like the exposure, the contrast, all these things you have to worry about. And then even after, like manipulating the pictures, like you said, it's insane. How long have you been doing that for?
I'm not even I feel like I was real young because I was like the family photographer.
Yeah.
Like, like parents try to get you to do something for the family. So they bought my mom and dad actually bought like a camera, like a digital camera. And I would take pictures for the family, like at events or stuff like that. So I was real young. And then when I got into high school, I took photography as an elective. And then I was in AP photography. And then in college, I took photography and then digital art. So I was able to I was able to do a whole bunch with all the stuff that I learned. And within photography, I learned how to do like film cameras. So like actually doing like changing the actual aperture and then ISO and all that stuff. Like all that stuff really matters to get a perfect picture, especially in a film camera. So you have to really like pay close attention to like the lighting, how much light you're going to give into the camera, all this other stuff for it. And it was really cool. And then like I was able to develop all my pictures myself. I got pictures from the actual development. So like I went into a dark room, red light and all.
Yeah, we did that in high school too. And that process, like dipping it in the water, then dipping it in the fluid, and then has to sit for a certain amount of time. That process was insane. All for pictures. Now that we just take like on our phones. It's crazy.
It's cool. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Solo trip or group adventure?
A group adventure.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that based off of our previous conversation.
Yeah.
Sports event or art gallery?
sports event because I'm going to be with a lot more people and I'll probably be intoxicated. So definitely sports event.
Yeah.
But an art gallery would be really nice. Mm-hmm. Like, you go on a date for an art gallery?
A close second. Runner up.
Someone? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'd be really nice.
Got it. And our very last question. Do you prefer small wins or big achievements?
Like small wins. Because small wins make you feel like truthfully, small wins lead up to a big achievement. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, you get a whole bunch of small wins. That's a big achievement to me. So small wins is a lot. Yeah. And you, from the viewers' like perspective, you're gonna kind of understand that from what we're gonna be talking about.
Yeah. Well, we already spoke about